Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallama tasliman kathiran. Amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Thanks everyone for showing up, for coming out, for taking the time off, driving, walking, flying, in the heat wave, weather warning, 90-something degrees today with humidity. Jazakumullah khairan. I'm sure all, if not most of the brothers work or normal steady jobs, many of them, the vast majority, and to sacrifice a weekend that could be spent easily with your children or your wife that's demanding more time, more quality time, taking me out, you can get more rest, you can do more personal ibadah. There's so many different things that you could have done today on Saturday if you have a normal 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. So the fact that you came and you showed your support, your love, your respect, and your cooperation, we thank you for that and we appreciate that. Brothers who drove and came from different states, tri-state, down south, all different regions, Jazakumullahu khairan. Thank you very much for that. Also, the brothers and sisters that are watching online, we make the same dua for you, and we express our gratitude, our recognition, and our appreciation. And don't think that just because someone is online watching that they're in our time zone, Eastern time. There are people in California, there are people in South America, people in Kuwait, people in Saudi Arabia, people all over the place in different parts of the world, missing sleep, staying up, depriving themselves from other things just to watch the live stream. And that's a very, very humbling thing. It's humbling for us, and we respect it, and we appreciate it. Jazakumullahu khairan. Hopefully you'll have from Allah the reward. And secondly, you'll have the beneficial information. And last but not least, you'll have my gratitude and my recognition and me being in your debt. As far as the local brothers from New York City, the brothers who helped put the conference together, the brothers who helped maintain the schedule, the brothers who provided the food, who served the food, the brothers who did all of the groundwork, the hard work that doesn't get the limelight, we thank you as well. We appreciate you as well. And we know that the star quarterback or the star running back is nothing without a good offensive line. Nothing whatsoever. There is no touchdown pass. There is no 30-yard run. There's none of that without a good offensive line. And offensive line doesn't get the recognition because they are the soldiers that are in the trench. They're doing the hard, dirty, brutal, grueling work that allows the star to shine. So the speakers who came, the brothers who spoke, alhamdulillah, after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His grace, it wouldn't be possible without the brothers that are on the ground doing the hard work. So everyone who's a part of the team, the brothers handling the camera, handling the live stream, everybody, ta'ala, hopefully you get the reward from Allah first and foremost. That's the most important thing, that's what we all hope for. And then inshallah, perhaps you'll get a couple pieces of beneficial information. And last but not least, you'll have our thanks and our gratitude. Jazakumullahu khairan. As far as the esteemed guests, the speakers, Sheikh Ali Davis, Sheikh Abu Sajid, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless them and bless their families. And may Allah Azza wa Jalla continue to shower them in His mercy and allow them to learn more and to benefit more and to give more. And we say to them openly without any flattery that this masjid is not just our masjid or a New York masjid, it's their masjid and you're welcome anytime. Formal, informal, anything you want to do, you're always welcome. And the same applies to the brothers, you're always welcome here. You're always welcome without any conditions or any strings attached. So the topic of the lecture was, I was only sent to perfect moral character. I was only sent to perfect moral character. إِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ لِأُتَمِّمَ مَكَارِمَ الْأَخْلَاقِ. إِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ لِأُتَمِّمَ مَكَارِمَ الْأَخْلَاقِ. The Prophet ﷺ is quoted to have said in this hadith sharif, the only reason why I was sent, not I have been sent to do this, the only reason why I'm a messenger and a prophet, a Rasul and an apostle, is to perfect the people's character. لِأُتَمِّمَ, to finish it and to polish it. That which the people have already, and that which is innately just instilled in them. And it's my job to complete it. It's my job to solidify it. It's my job to finish the job, make it a masterpiece, a finished product, and to allow it to reach its pinnacle and allow it to reach its summit. So we have the concept of husnul khuluq or makarim al-akhlaq, good character, in light of the dawah scene, the effect and the impact of husnul khuluq upon dawah, upon the dawah that you give and the dawah that you receive. The ups and the downs, the pros and the cons, the countless problems that we have with the dawah scene today, with regards to du'at, people who call to things, and with regards to mad'u'un, those who are called to things. And it's a seesaw. It goes back and forth on both sides. We have bad character, we have problems, more issues with those who are being called. Someone gives you truth and you want to be stubborn and obstinate. Okay, you don't want to take the correct solid advice and the correct solid dawah. That's a problem. And then when those who give dawah, they don't behave properly. They don't have the good character, whether they're too harsh or too soft or too hasty or whatever the problem is, that's going to have an impact on the dawah as well. So husnul khuluq, without any question, lahu silatun wathiqa, as a direct connection to a dawah ila Allah. And also we have the concept of good character, makarim al-akhlaq, with regards to one's family, with regards to your mother, first and foremost. The Prophet ﷺ was asked, Man ahaqu nas bi husni sahabati. Who deserves for me to treat them the best? The best of my best. Who deserves that most? It's your mother. He said it 3 times, and then he said your father. And the same applies to one's brother, one's nephew, one's cousin, one's wife, one's children, and the list goes on. The relationship that the Muslim has with family members, Muslim or non-Muslim, and the importance of makarim al-akhlaq, and strengthening family bonds, maintaining family bonds, repairing and fixing broken and severed family bonds, ila akhirihi. And we can never ever forget, what I want to say is, why we chose to include makarim al-akhlaq in dawah is because dawah is the best thing to do. It's the best thing to stay busy with. وَمَنْ أَحْسَنُ قَوْلًا مِمَّنْ دَعَا إِلَى اللَّهِ وَعَمِلَ صَالِحًا وَقَالَ إِنَّنِي مِنَ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. Who is better? Who is more thorough? Who is more virtuous? Who can make a better statement than the one who calls to Allah, the one who does righteous deeds, and the one who proclaims to be a Muslim? Who could be better than that person? Allah asked this question. وَمَنْ أَحْسَنُ قَوْلًا يعني لَا أَحَدْ أَحْسَنُ قَوْلًا مِنْهُ. No one can do something better than that. And the Prophet ﷺ, his message, his way was nothing more than a da'wah ila Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and everything that he did. He called to Allah in everything that he did. Every action, every statement was a means of inviting people to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So something we should be mindful of, and something we can never ever forget. What I want to speak about today, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, are some of the misconceptions that we have with regards to makarim al-akhlaq and with regards to husnul khuluq. Misconceptions. People wanting to do the right thing, intending to do the right thing, they want to have good character, but they lose the way. They're mistaken, they're misled, they're misinformed. Or the garment is a good fit, but it's just stretched a bit too much. It's too much, stretched too much. You're trying too hard with regards to something which actually isn't husnul khuluq. Or it isn't a binding stipulation of husnul khuluq, that you have to do it like this, or say it like this, or this person in this location, so on and so forth. And there are many widespread misconceptions regarding what is good character. And obviously misconceptions concerning good character is a neighbor and a cousin of fake piety. Fake piety. In which you're trying to be something and trying to do something which you don't have to feel awesome. You don't even have to say it like that or do it like that, let alone the fact that that's unnatural. You don't talk like that. You don't walk like that. That's not how you do things. You're trying to do something in a way that's not natural, and you don't even have to do it like that, if that thing is even positive. It isn't binding upon you. So that's what we want to talk about today, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, with regards to the misconceptions and the widespread misunderstandings and misinterpretations concerning husnul khuluq. I want to read from one of the most prolific writers of the 8th century, and it's not Shaykh Islam ibn Taymiyyah or Ibn Qayyim, okay, or Ibn Rajab. It's someone else. Ibn Daqiq al-Eid, Shaykh al-Islam, في الأصول, and sometimes in fiqh. He says, rahimahullah ta'ala, وَالْمُرَادُ بِحُسْنِ الْخُلُقِ الْإِنصَافُ فِي الْمُعَامَلَةِ وَالرِّفْقُ فِي الْمُحَاوَلَةِ وَالْعَدْلُ فِي الْأَحْكَامِ وَالْبَذْلُ فِي الْإِحْسَانِ وغير ذلك من صفات المؤمنين الذين وصفهم الله تعالى فقال في سورة الأنفال إنما المؤمنون الذين إذا ذكر الله وجلت قلوبهم وإذا تليت عليهم آياته زادتهم إيمانا وعلى ربهم يتوكلون الذين يقيمون الصلاة ومما رزقناهم ينفقون أولئك هم المؤمنون حقا. وقال تعالى التائبون العابدون الحامدون إلى قوله وبشر المؤمنين. وقال قد أفلح المؤمنون إلى قوله أولئك هم الوارثون. وقال وعباد الرحمن الذين يمشون على الأرض هونا إلى آخر السورة. فمن أشكل عليه حاله فليعرض نفسه على هذه الآيات فوجود جميعها علامة حسن الخلق وفقد جميعها علامة سوء الخلق ووجود بعضها دون بعض يدل على البعض دون البعض فليشغل بحفظ ما وجده وتحصيل ما فقده ولا يظن ظان أن حسن الخلق عبارة عن لين الجانب وترك الفواحش والمعاصي فقط وأن من فعل ذلك فقد هذب خلقه بل حسن الخلق ما ذكرناه من صفات المؤمنين والتخلق بأخلاقهم ومن حسن الخلق احتمال الأذى فقد ورد في الصحيحين أن أعرابيا جذب برد النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم حتى أثرت حاشيته في عاتق النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وقال يا محمد مر لي من مال الله الذي عندك فالتفت إليه رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ثم ضحك وأمر له بعطائه. وقوله والإثم ما حك في نفسك وكرهت أن يطلع عليه الناس يعني هو الشيء الذي يورث نفرة في القلب وهذا أصل يتمسك به في معرفة الإثم من البر. إن الإثم ما يحوك أو ما في صدرك ويكره صاحبه أن يطلع عليه الناس والمراد بالناس والله أعلم أماثلهم ووجوههم لا غوغاؤهم فهذا هو الإثم فيتركه والله أعلم. Ibn Daqiq al-Eid rahimahullah ta'ala, listen very carefully inshallah to the translation and the ta'liq, the commentary, which is going to show you how it all blends together, how many people can have a misconception and a misunderstanding on what is good character, what is moral character, what it is and what it isn't. Ibn Daqiq al-Eid rahimahullah ta'ala, he says regarding the Prophet ﷺ's hadiths, when he was asked, what is husnul khuluq? What is good character? What is moral character? And also when a man came to him and he asked him, he says, Jitta tas'alu anil bir. You're asking me about bir, which is translated as piety. That's what you want to know? Let me explain it to you. He says here, what's meant by good character, he says al birru husnul khuluq. What's meant by bir being husnul khuluq is from the greatest acts of piety. Listen to these words. From the greatest acts of righteousness is to have good character. So good character under any circumstance is a trivial issue. It's not a footnote. It's not a sideshow. It's not something which is, just on the side as a garnish. It isn't something which you don't have to have. No, it's from the greatest acts of piety. It's to have good character and to have fine moral character. كما قال الحج عرفة. Like the Prophet ﷺ said, Hajj is Arafah. Or a better translation, Arafah is Hajj. Arafah is Hajj. You want to know what Hajj is? It's Arafah. How many other things do you do besides Arafah? Muzdalifah, you do Tawaf, you do Sa'i, you do Rami, you do this, you do that. But the Prophet says that Hajj is nothing else but what? Arafah. Meaning it's from the greatest, most important, and most substantial parts of Hajj is what? Arafah. So the Prophet is saying that bir is husnul khuluq. Meaning there are other aspects and manifestations of bir. But from the most important aspects of piety and righteousness is what? Is husnul khuluq. You understand this? And what is the stance or the position of bir from deen, from iman, from Islam? I would understand the equation. You can't separate the two. I would understand this. My iman is good, but my bir is different. My bir is good, but my husnul khuluq is different. La. It is a part of the initial fabric, just like you can't separate Hajj from Arafah. Doesn't work like that. If you miss Arafah, there's what? There's no Hajj, no matter what else you did. So we have to be mindful of this now. So, and this is also why I chose to do this lecture. And why I didn't want to speak on this topic and that topic. This is why we wanted to talk about this. Moving forward, he says, what's meant by husnul khuluq? Listen to these comprehensive principles. Number one, he says, al-insafu fil mu'amala is to be just in your dealings. Be just. Do not be a tyrant. Don't be unfair. Don't be extreme, but be just. وَالرِّفْقُ فِي الْمُحَاوَلَةِ. And when you try and attempt to do something, do it with gentleness. Don't go into it with roughness. Be gentle when you try something. وَالْعَدْلُ فِي الْأَحْكَامِ. And when you make a ruling or a decision, let it be based off of justice as well. Adl. Be fair and be just. Say for or against someone based off of nothing but facts. That's it. Period. This is right and it's wrong because of facts. This person is this and that because of nothing more but what? Facts. That's it. Adl. Nothing else. وَالْبَذْلُ فِي الْإِحْسَانِ. And be generous with your good treatment. Don't be stingy with your goodness, with your benevolence. Let it spread. Let it overflow. Let it be no limit to your generosity. وَغَيْرُ ذَلِكَ. And other things as well. Meaning, there is no one single definition of husnul khuluq and makarim al-akhlaq. There is no one definition for it. There are many other manifestations of it. He says, from the attributes of the believers, whom Allah Azza wa Jal described in many surahs and many ayats. And from those surahs is what Allah Azza wa Jal mentions in Surah Al-Anfal, when He says the believers are only those, when Allah's name is mentioned, their hearts become soft and tender, and their eyes water. And when Allah's verses are recited upon them, their faith immediately grows, and they put their trust in their Lord. Those who establish prayers, and those who spend out of what we have blessed them with of sustenance, أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ حَقًّا. He says these are the true believers. This, that, so on and so forth, this right here, these are the true believers. When Allah's name is mentioned, something happens. When the Quran is recited, something happens. And most importantly, physical deeds. They do things. Real people do real things. Allah says these are the real believers. To the end of those ayat. Allah also says in Surah At-Tawbah, the surah right after Surah Al-Anfal, At-Ta'ibun, Al-Abidun, Al-Hamidun. Allah speaks about the companions, the warriors of Islam. And He calls them Ta'ibun. They make repentance. They worship. They praise Allah. Sa'ihun, they travel, etc. Allah Azza wa Jalla also, to the point which He says, Mubashir al-Mu'mineen, and give glad tidings to the believers. Allah also says in Surah Al-Mu'minun, the believers will be successful. Who are the believers? What is husnul khuluq? What is bir? What is makarim al-akhlaq? الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ. That's what it is. Ibn Daqiq al-Eid, he says what Allah says in Surah Al-Furqan, وَعِبَادُ الرَّحْمَنِ. And the servants of Allah are those who do A, B, C, D, E, F. Those are the chosen servants of Ar-Rahman subhanahu wa ta'ala, to the end of the surah. He says, so whoever is in doubt and whoever wishes to question himself, do I have good character or not? Am I a good person or not? Should I marry this brother to my daughter, to my sister or not? Am I a just person or not? Then he has to stand in front of these verses out of the Quran. When Allah's name is mentioned, what happens to my heart and my eyes? How much money do I spend in sadaqah? How much prayer do I give? How truthful is my tongue? Etc. So there's no ambiguity, is the point I'm trying to make. Is that bir, husnul khuluq, makarim al-akhlaq is nothing dubious. It's no weird, funny type of outer space concept to judge yourself if you have good character. The only thing that you have to do is read the Quran and look at yourself. That's it. Do I praise Allah? Do I thank Allah? Do I make repentance? etc. Ibn Daqiq al-Eid, rahimahullah, he says, so if you have all of these characteristics, all of these things, then that's a sign that you have what? Husnul khuluq. And if you have none of them, then that's a sign that you have what? Bad character. So a person could be a good person, quote unquote, to his neighbor, a good boss, a good employee, but he has no relationship with Allah. He doesn't make salah. He doesn't give zakat. He doesn't preserve his chastity, etc. He doesn't have what? Good moral character. Even if the people say he has what? Good moral character. And vice versa. And vice versa. He then says, and if a person has some of these things, then it means he has some good character. And if he's missing some things, then he's missing other parts. Fal, he says, so you should stay busy with keeping what you have and getting what you don't have. So alhamdulillah, when the Quran is recited, I cry, but I don't feel it in my heart. Alhamdulillah, I give zakah, but I don't have khushu' in my prayer. Alhamdulillah, I don't talk to the ignorant people, but I don't walk in humility upon the earth. So stay busy with getting what you don't have, and stay busy with keeping what you what? Already have. And that's why we say, Ihdina sirat al-mustaqim. Tahsil, we say what? Tathbit al-mawjood wa tahsil al-ma'doom. It's solidifying what you already have and getting what? What you don't have. Because if you sit down and you ask yourself, why do we make that prayer every day and we're Muslims? Are we not upon the sirat al-mustaqim? Do we have doubt that Islam is the sirat al-mustaqim? Have you ever thought about this, what this verse means? Guide us to the straight path. If you're looking for directions, you say, please tell me where such and such is. That means that you what? You don't know where it is. I need guidance. Tell me how to get to this bridge, how to go there. Take this left, make this right, and then it's right there. So we ask Allah for something, and at the same time we claim that we have that thing. That's being Muslims. How does that make sense? Did you ever ask yourself this question? How does that make sense now? Guide us to the straight path. Are we not on the straight path? Is there doubt about Islam being a straight path? So what that verse means is, first and foremost, is to manifest you being a slave and a servant. I'm humble. I have no pride, no arrogance. I'm not doing Allah no favor. There's no guarantee that I'll keep my iman. And I want to solidify the Islam that I have already achieved. Alhamdulillah, I made Hajj 10 times. Alhamdulillah, I've been married for 20 years. I have children, I raised Muslims. Alhamdulillah, I give my sadaqah, I pay my zakat. Alhamdulillah, I did this. Alhamdulillah, I did that. I took my shahada at this age. Alhamdulillah for that. So you want to keep that. And at the same time, you want to make Hajj in the 11th time. And you want to be married to your wife for 21 years. And you want to have another Abdurrahman. And you want to pay more zakat and more sadaqah. What happened to that? He says, so this is what a person should do. Now, the highlighting point comes. He says, وَلَا يَظُنَّ ظَانٌ أَنَّ حُسْنُ الْخُلُقِ عِبَارَةٌ عَنْ لِينِ الْجَنَّةِ. And don't let no one think that good character or moral character is just to have a soft side to yourself. To be soft and to be kind. To become like a brother. You know, when you bend down and you shake your hands. As many people think and feel. They think and they feel that that's what's what? Husn al-khuluq. That's good moral character. Faqat, that's it. Being humble with your brother, being soft with your brother is what? A part of it, right? Ikram al-Muslim. Honoring the Muslim is a part of it. But it's not everything. He says, وَتَرْكُ الْفَوَاحِشِ وَالْمَعَصِي فَقَط. And stay away from sins. And this is not just a talk for Muslims or Muslim to Muslim da'wah, but non-Muslims. He says, well, I don't have to be a Muslim because I'm a good person. I don't steal no money. I don't kill nobody. I don't rob from no one. I work hard. I go home. I have my beer. I'm with my girlfriend. I treat her well. And that's it, you know. I'm a good person. You can't tell me that I'm going to hell. You can't tell me that I don't believe in God. Just because I don't have a religion or I'm not a Muslim doesn't mean I'm not spiritual. I'm a good person. I don't wrong people. There are Muslims who wrong people. There are Muslims who steal. There are Muslims who kill. There are Muslims who are violent. There are Muslims who beat up their wives and mistreat their children. I don't do none of that. He says that's not only what's meant by that. It's deeper than that. And that's going to lead us in a topic that we have about the misconceptions of what is and what isn't what? Husnul khuluq and makarim al-akhlaq. Everyone understand the point I'm trying to get to? Don't think that it's just something that is physical. Don't think that it's just something that you say. Don't think that it's something that you just do on one day out of the week or 1 month out of the year or with these brothers or this person. It's deeper than that. Good character and moral character is more profound than that which is just on the surface. And it's not even covering the whole surface. That's only partial. He says, and don't think that if a person is soft and kind, and if a person doesn't make sin, then he has perfected his character. Don't think that. He says, bel, nay, no. حسن الخلق ما ذكرناه من صفات المؤمنين والتخلق بأخلاقهم. He says good character is what we have what? Mentioned of the attributes of the believers. إنما المؤمنون وعباد الرحمن قد أفلح المؤمنون التائبون. I.e. he's telling you is that حسن الخلق begins and ends with the what? The Quran and the Sunnah. You understand this? It begins and it ends with the what? The Quran and the Sunnah. How you talk, how you dress, who you're friends with, this, that, what type of fruit you eat, so on and so forth. That's not the beginning and the end of what? Husnul khuluq. And many brothers, they think this and they what? They feel this. Husnul khuluq is to have a soft heart when the Quran is mentioned. Husnul khuluq is to cry when you think about your sins. Husnul khuluq is to make tawbah. Wahakadha. So he's trying to tell you is that the content of what you should and shouldn't do is nothing more than what? In simple, easy layman terms is what? Quran and Sunnah. That's what it is. It's the what? The Quran and the Sunnah. And everyone that we follow and take an example of, we only follow them and take the example based off of what? Everyone understand this? That's the name of the game. There's nothing else. There's that which was sent down and revealed is Quran and what? Hadith. That's it. And everything else goes back to the Quran and the Hadith. The ijma', the consensus. They agreed upon the Quran and Hadith. They agreed upon the understanding of this ayah or this hadith. They followed the way of the Quran and the Hadith. They remained pure and true on the way of Quran and Hadith, despite the other groups and schisms, what? Strayed. But in actuality, it's nothing more than what? You understand this? And that's your aqidah, that's your ibadah, that's your politics, and that's also your suluk. You understand this? Or tazkiyah. It's not just one group or one direction that we're talking about. And we talked about this, alhamdulillah, we spoke on this when we mentioned purification of the soul. And from the misconceptions of purification of the soul, is people think is that there's a set of principles that are foreign to the Quran and Sunnah for tazkiyah. Quran and Hadith is there, and then there are the rules of what? Tazkiyah. That's wrong. The Quran and the Sunnah is the only source for tazkiyah. The Quran and the Sunnah is the only source for husnul khuluq. Everyone understand this? The Quran and the Sunnah is the only source for your aqidah and your ibadah and your da'wah. That's the point that we're trying to get across. And that's what we're trying to propagate and get people out of thinking that the Quran and Sunnah is just the basic, salt and pepper. And there's some extra spice that's needed for the dish to taste good. And that is, without a question, anyone who gives da'wah or who receives da'wah, and you go and you travel, you realize that is a widespread misconception. This group strayed because of that. This group went astray because they thought that it was something that was too bland. And it had to be another spice to give it flair. That's the reason why people make bid'ah. It's because they think that the basic actions are too basic and boring. The Prophet was forgiven of all of his sins. Khalas. We can't just do what he did because he was forgiven of his sins. So therefore we have to do what? Add some extra stuff here. We need some more flair. And that is a problem in your aqidah, in your ibadah, in your da'wah, and it's also a problem in your what? Character. Thinking that it's something foreign. And it isn't anything foreign. Ibn Daqiq al-Eid, rahimahullah ta'ala, he says, وَالتَّخَلُّقُ بِأَخْلَاقِهِمْ. Having the takhalluq, behaving like the believers behaved. How did the believers behave? Based off of what Allah, what? Said. Quran and Hadith. He says, and also from good character is ihtimalul adha. It's having thick skin. Ihtimalul adha, that's the best translation of that. Have thick skin. It's to bear the harm and the annoyance that you suffer and that you incur. To bear it. Is that someone harms you or annoys you, it doesn't change you. It doesn't cause you to sway. And you don't become impulsive and angry and mad and upset and lash out when someone annoys you. He says in Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim, the nomad man came and he started to grab the Prophet like this, like choking him. And he pulled him so violently is that the collar of the garment of the Prophet, it made an abrasion on the Prophet's neck, his noble, sacred neck. It made a mark on his neck. That's how hard he grabbed him. And he said, "Oh Muhammad, give me some of the money that Allah has placed in your hands." Look how disrespectful that is. Grabbed him, pulled his collar, and he said, "Oh Muhammad, murli." He says, "Give me some of the wealth that Allah has given you. Not, can you help me? Can you give me some of your sadaqah? Give me the wealth that doesn't even what? Doesn't even belong to you." And what did the Prophet ﷺ, he says, ضحك, smiled. وَأَمَرَ لَهُ بِعَطَاءٍ تَفَضَّلْ. Give him a few shillings. Tafaddal. That's what he did. How many of us can say that we can do this? How many of us can claim to say that's how we react when we're annoyed and harmed? When someone does something to us physically or verbally. Someone cuts you off in traffic, what do? Lose it. Well, how get that? Someone steps on your foot. Someone looks at you the wrong way. Someone does this and we blow up. And it shows the great difference between us and the Prophet. And the Prophet was the master of husnul khuluq and of makarim al-akhlaq. So, with this being said, the point that I'm trying to get across, I believe, is more than clear. And that is, what is and what isn't husnul khuluq. So from the widespread misconceptions of good character and moral character, number one is that moral character is only for a place, such as the masjid. There are many brothers, alhamdulillah, you encounter them, wallahi, from these sweetest brothers that you'll find. They'll shake your hand, they'll give you a hug, they'll bring you tea, they'll bring you fruit. They're beautiful brothers. It's time to make prayer. Beautiful. Anything you ask them for, they'll give you. And they try and they strive to have husnul khuluq. But when they leave the masjid, the moment they step foot out of the door, the husnul khuluq is now turned off. The moment they get in their cars, the moment they enter their homes, the moment they encounter their wives, their sons, their daughters, their stepsons, stepdaughters, whoever it is, there's no more husnul khuluq. Everything is not a demand, a command, a problem, harshness, and no one is receiving that soft, warm hand that smells like the what? The oud, or the frankincense or whatever oil that you use. All right. Now, everybody is not. I don't think a Muslim is necessarily going to say this. There may be some Muslims who make statements like this, but I don't think they're going to necessarily say that. But we know in Arabic and in other languages and other cultures, there's more than one tongue. There's more than one tongue. We have the verbal tongue and we have the what? The body language, the disposition, the attitude. So you may say something that you don't believe this and I don't feel this, but your actions clearly prove the opposite. Lisanul hal, lisanul maqal, and then we have lisanul. It's impossible for you to believe that husnul khuluq is universal and to treat your family or your neighbors or someone who beeped at you when you were driving and you turn into an animal. But just imagine you were the softest, kindest, sweetest brother that you can possibly think of. Can we all agree on this? No. That's one misconception that's very widespread. Another very wide misconception is that husnul khuluq, or good moral character, is a time. Not a place or location, but it's only a period of time. A period of time. So, if you catch me at a certain time, I won't tell you no. I won't refuse you. But you catch me at another time, then I will ask you, why are you contacting me? Why are you asking me? The question and answer is over. Why do you keep asking me the same question, Yafi? How many times do I answer your question? You ask me 1,000 questions over and over again. But during the live stream or the time for the questions, you can ask me what? 1,000. And I'll keep going on and on and on. That's a misconception that many of us have. There's no time zone for husnul khuluq. You're supposed to be good, righteous, and benevolent all of the time. And if you have a flaw and a shortcoming as a human being, it is your job to strive to implement it. And many of us, we don't strive. Rather, we have on and off buttons. Our moral character is flipped on and what? Flipped off. A third misconception, which is very widespread, is that a stranger deserves your good character. A stranger deserves your moral conduct more than your own family, your own blood, or those who are closest to you. And this can be manifested in a class. Many places we go in which we do a talk, and it's a great, huge crowd, and the imam says, we do classes all of the time. Why don't you guys sit in our classes? And I'm not talking about one location. I'm talking about one masjid. It's happened to me several times, several places that I went. Rather, there was one brother in the city, which I won't mention. For some years we were there in the city. He was complaining, he was getting mad and upset, as that they had a sheikh there, a scholar there, from a specific country that was supposed to be like a real, real big sheikh, a big wig, a major sheikh, doing major books, giving ijazah, and he says no one sits with the sheikh. And the brother, he says, but you come from out of town, you come from Philadelphia here to the Midwest, and everyone jumps and rushes and runs in your classes. He says, that's not right. He says, you need to tell them yourself not to sit with me, but to sit with the local sheikh that we have here. All right? So that's a misconception. People, they think that good character is for a stranger and not for the local. All right? I'm not going against that brother. I'm supporting what he's saying. Yeah, in general. I would understand this? Not 100%. The Mufti's bugging out. In general. So the concept of, we have a local teacher who's there all the time, whose class is more important? The class that comes and goes, or the class that's what? There's no doubt about that. The sheikh that's there with you, that's going to be with you, to help you with your problems, that is going to answer your questions, the one that's going to go to your walima and go to your aqiqah and give you personal time instead of a stranger that comes and what? Goes. And many brothers, they do this. They show benevolence to a stranger before they show benevolence to their own family. Or a brother, he treats his wife a certain way. He's harsh with his wife. He's rude to his wife. Very mean and nasty to his wife. But if it was an old non-Muslim lady walking down the street, or some lady in a department store, or he's putting the sugar in his coffee at the table at Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks, he says, hello, how you doing? Are you looking for this or you dropped this? And his wife, she stands there like a slap in the face. You said please to her. You said thank you to her. You smiled at her. You flirted with this lady, but you treat me like this. And I'm the one who had your children. I'm the one who's there for you. I'm the one who takes care of you. I'm the one that can poison you in your sleep and kill you in your sleep. It's reality. I have the closest access to you. And this is how you treat me. And the same applies to sisters. It's not just a brother bashing thing. Sisters, they do as well. You find sisters, mashallah, ukhti, kayf halik, shake hands, mashallah, alhamdulillah. Everything is nice and polite and cordial. But they talk to their husbands, and it's sarcasm. And it's rude, and they have very, very long tongues, and everything is a sharp response. But a stranger or a sister that isn't the one who provides for them, feeds them, takes care of them, he gets the butt end or the brunt of their su'ul khuluq and their masawi and akhlaq. And many people, like I said, I don't think a Muslim was going to say this verbally, but their actions prove that this is what they may actually believe. Is that I don't have to treat the local good. My wife, she's not going anywhere. I got her, class. So I don't have to treat her kind. I don't have to go out of my way to be good to her. But a total stranger, a mushrik, a kafir, a fasiq Muslim, that person gets my husnul khuluq. Are we understand this? And I'm sure each and every one of you can think of an example of something that happened to you in your life like this, in which the close person treats you in a certain way, but the stranger gets a different type of treatment. That's a misconception. Another misconception with regards to good moral character is that there is a specific dress code for good moral character, or is a specific accent or language of good moral character. And I'm not making this up. I'm not exaggerating. I'm sure brothers here that support me in this. There are many people who think and feel that talking with an accent is a sign that you have good character, or a sign that you have good knowledge. This is reality. You find someone and want to keep it real, right? He comes from the heart of North Philly, and he's talking with a London accent, literally. And he's been taught and educated, and he thinks that this is what the sign of the people of the sunnah, the what? They think this, and they think that husnul khuluq is dressing a certain way. Another example, let's take it, because don't think it's just one. No, I'm talking all across the board. People accept Islam, and they think that they have to divorce all of their culture. That's husnul khuluq. You have to wear this type of garment and not that type of garment. You can't have this type of food. Soul food, I would never feed the Muslims soul food for a walima or an aqiqah. Come on, man, that's a jahiliyyah. I wouldn't give them baked macaroni and cheese and turkey wings. That's kuffar food. Rather, no, we'll give them biryani. That's right. And this is what they consider. This is what husnul khuluq. So their original culture and diet or dress or whatever issue is, that's all jahiliyyah. But good character, being a kind Muslim, is divorcing everything from your culture and adopting a total foreign culture, and now you're being pious and righteous. Am I making this up? No. Many brothers, they think this and they feel this. In other words, if I say, yo, what's up, Ak? What's going on? Alhamdulillah, you good? That's talking street. That's slang. That's jahiliyyah. That's not good speech for the masjid. But I have to say it in a certain way. How are you, brother? Brother. The reality. Am I making this up? They think this is that you can't talk slang, or you can't joke around in your culture, or we can't enjoy the things that we have. That's not good character. Good character is being robotic and mechanical of someone else's culture. Are you understanding this? And many students of knowledge overseas, they think this. They think that you have to talk 100% fusha to be a student of knowledge and to talk and to communicate with someone. And little do they know, those mashayikh that they look up to and that they take from and that they follow and they admire, when they sit among themselves, how do they talk among themselves? How do they talk? I was saying, they talk what? No doubt. And if you're in the office or you're at the place at the istiraha and they talk about something that they don't want you to know about, they will talk at an even deeper level of slang. And you're totally lost. Not the normal Saudi slang. They talk some different Saudi slang in which you're lost. And they're talking, they're laughing, they have their tea, this and that, and they're never accused of having what? bad character. So bad character is not attached to a specific culture 100%. Are there things from Philadelphia or New Jersey or America which is bad akhlaq? No doubt about that. And which is normal for us to talk about somebody's mom. Your mom is so stupid, she thought such and such. Your mom is so dumb, she thought such and such. That's normal. And no one gets offended or takes, no one gets angry. But it doesn't mean it's permissible. And it doesn't mean that it's good character, even though it's culturally what? Accepted. But it doesn't mean that you can't make a joke with your brother. It doesn't mean that you can't bust on your brother, take a shot at your brother in a what? A respectable manner. It's not attacking no one's honor. It's not lying. It's not exaggeration. You make a joke about somebody, man, get out of here. There's nothing wrong with that. There's no prohibition of talking and speaking and eating and dressing where you come from. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to adopt someone else's culture thinking that is khulq 100%. And I'm sure people in the UK or people in the Middle East, and there's no shot at anyone. I'm just speaking facts. I'm just speaking facts, the reality. People in different countries, they have many cultural norms that are haram. And they have many cultural norms which are makruh. And they have many cultural norms which are in clear contradiction and opposition to the sunnah. Are you understanding this? So there's no one culture which is 101% absolutely makarim al-akhlaq and husn al-khuluq. And this, in my humble opinion, is one of the most widespread misconceptions. You can't have a sense of humor. You can't be an easygoing type of person. You got to be harsh and robotic. You got to be, like you have gears in your arms. You can't be loose and fluid. You can't be yourself to have good character. Good character is coming to the masjid on time. Good character is paying your zakat. Good character is giving your sadaqah. Good character is not to respond to the ignorant, not to make fun of people, not to ridicule people. Good character is not to be arrogant, conceited. As Allah what? Said. إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. The believers are only those who? A, B, C. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ مَنْ هُمْ? Who are they? الَّذِينَ هُمْ وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ. وَهَكَذَا. So this is the purpose of my talk, is to shed light on what is and what isn't husnul khuluq. Slang, as long as you're not cursing, as long as you're not lying, as long as you're not ridiculing someone, there's nothing wrong saying it, and there's nothing wrong with that being a part of good character. Laughing and joking and playing around with your brother is a sign of what? Good character. Because your brother feels comfortable with you, and you feel comfortable with him, as long as you don't cross the what? The lines, huh? Don't cross the boundaries. You may see some bad character from your brother if you cross those lines. Tell you, some brothers will lie you travel with, in the masjid, in front of the brothers. When they come, everything's nice. Sheikh, Mufti, where would you like to sit? Sheikh, here's your bag, here's your tea. You go back to the Airbnb, they may abuse you. They may literally, beat you up. But I don't want to mention no names. We shouldn't mention names unless we have to, Inshallah. So everyone get the point I'm trying to make here? Everyone understand this? If you're cursing someone, that's a different story. If you're lying, that's a different story. But if you're talking in a good way, do it as you please. And we know that many of the Salaf al-Salih, radiallahu anhum, they manifested good character in their actions, the teachings of the Quran and the Sunnah. And from that is, let's say for example, the narration of a man coming into a man's house. When he comes to a man's house, right? And his friend isn't there. But let's say someone who's a servant or a maid is there, right? Fulan isn't there, she says no, or he says no. And he sees a pouch of gold coins, some money. He goes into the pouch, takes it out. There's no gold pouches in 2019. We're not walking around with gold nuggets and shillings and guineas in 2019. So let's say, hypothetically speaking, I go to your house, I go with you, and your mother's there. I said, is Brian there? He said, no, he's not there. Okay, cool. And I see your bag sitting on the table. You can wait for him to come back. Okay, no problem. And I see your wallet. And I go in your wallet and I take some credit cards. No credit cards, inshallah. Some bills out of your wallet, right? And I put your wallet back into the book bag. I'm sitting there, I'm waiting. And I say, I gotta leave, please tell them I was here. No problem. So I come, or you come, and your mother says, Brother Mufti came to visit you. Oh, really? But I saw something real strange. He went inside your wallet and he took money out your wallet. What would you do and what would you say? Would you be angry? Would you be mad? Would you call me a thief, that dirty son of a gun, that rascal? He took my money. One of the Salaf al-Salih, this happened, it was a real life story. And the Jariyah, it was a servant girl, she told this island that Fulan and Fulan came to your house and he took some of your gold. And he said to her, if you're speaking the truth and you're not lying, for anti-hurrah, he says, then you're free. If you're telling the truth that Fulan came to visit me and he felt enough comfort to go into my sack of coins and take what he wants and leave and go, then you're a free woman. Later on, he encountered that man and he told him what happened and it was a true story. He freed the slave girl. Why did he free the slave girl? And why did he make that stipulation? Because he couldn't believe it, that his brother would have that much trust and love and respect and comfort to take his money. And to know that he wouldn't be upset and he wouldn't be offended and disrespected. As if he didn't believe the slave girl. If you tell him the truth, then you're free. Everyone understand this? So the concept of your brother feeling comfortable with you to say that about you or to take some of your chips or whatever case, that proves what?
Love.
That means something. That there's trust, there's love and respect. Mufti's not going to mind, and if he minds, so what? We're going to do it anyway. He's not going to get mad because you know you have that relationship with someone. And many people, they think that something like that or a statement like that or an act like that isn't husnul khuluq. And husnul khuluq is being a robot or being an alien or being strange and funny and all, funny acting, or you say funny style, in which everything is all, to the script. Nah, it's not good character. Good character is Quran and Sunnah. Good character is Quran and Sunnah. And the Quran and Sunnah teaches that we are brothers to each other. And what good is a brother if he can't borrow something from you? What good is a brother if he can't put a smile on your face? What good is your brother if your brother can't what? Throw you under the bus every now and then in a what? A respectable manner, as we say. So no one come and say that you can say whatever you want about a Muslim. But you know what? A respectable man. I know Abu Said, he's thinking about his revenge as we speak, huh? You're going to put him on the camera. He's thinking about his revenge as we speak. What is he going to say on camera to get me back? So therefore, at the end of the day, brothers and sisters, hopefully the message is clear on the importance of good character, what it is and what it isn't, and how we should manifest it. And the rules of the Quran and Sunnah are the concrete rules. The culture, the customs, the dress, the accent, what you do, those are the flexible things. As long as you don't violate the what? Quran and the Sunnah. As long as you don't violate the Quran and the Sunnah. Everyone understands? That's what good character is. And your wife respecting you, your wife being an obedient wife, it doesn't mean that she's not your wife. And it doesn't mean that there's a dictatorship in a household and that you have to be a zalim and a wrongdoer. Oftentimes the most insecure men have the most iron-fisted hands because they're insecure. So everything has to be a certain way, like this, like that. Don't do this, don't do that, because it's a problem that they're trying to cover up for. But someone who isn't insecure, he has nothing to prove. I know I pay the bills in this house. I know I'm the imam in this household. This is my house. I take care of this family. I have nothing to prove. There are no insecurities. My children, they know who's in charge. They know who's the imam. They know who Abby is. I don't have to go walking around with a stick, beating people and smacking people around to follow every single nook and cranny in my rule book. And that's another manifestation of what isn't husnul khuluq. Strong men are what? Easygoing. Real tough guys are what? They're easygoing people. People that are insecure are loud and boisterous and rambunctious because they're trying to hide something, they're trying to cover up something, and they're trying too hard. They're trying too hard. So this is very important for us to understand husnul khuluq. And those who deserve good character and good behavior, first and foremost is Allah Azza wa Jalla. Be good with Allah. Behave well with Allah. Do not allow Allah to find you and to catch you in a place where He has forbidden you. Do not allow Allah to see you doing something that you're not supposed to be doing. Do not make Allah the most insignificant of those who see you. You hide from the people, but you don't hide from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As Allah says in the Quran, that's a problem. Don't treat strangers well and treat your family like trash. Your brothers that are there for you, your teacher, who isn't as flashy and famous and big named, but he's your teacher who's there with you every day, going over the method with you. Give him the most respect and learn from him, and not just someone who comes and goes. Everyone understand this? Etc. Etc. Allah Azza wa Jalla truly knows best. Now, inshallah ta'ala, we will do the panel Q&A discussion, and all speakers are required to speak. Raghma unufihim, even if they don't like it. No matter how much humility you have in your heart, that's good. Play here.
Starting video.
Inshallah. La Sheikh, you good. La, tfadl. Jazakallah khair. Tfadl. Bismillah. You I tell you.
Tuesday date?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, or maybe get a third one like this to make more room.
Any brother here has a black Dodge Challenger with Pennsylvania plates?
Yeah, I gotta move it.
Yeah, we don't want you to get told you if you at the bus stop at 5.
Yeah,
And I will get my revenge, but it's gonna be when he's not expecting it.
okay.
I'm gonna get my revenge.
No, we just gonna use these. We'll see what, what it'll work like that.
Stuff it up like this. It's not that. You know what I'm saying? Good job? Yeah.